Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. So today I am chatting with an old friend. We've known each other for a very long time, and it has been, I think, 8 years that we haven't seen each other. So I thought, why not invite her? And during the month of August, which is Women's Month, and we chat about all things women. What are the things that have contributed to the woman she is today, which is my theme for this month? I'm interested to hear from various ladies what are the things that have contributed to the people, the women, the mothers, the sisters that they are today. So let me check if she's already online, and let's get chatting. Yay, there she is. Hello, gorgeous. How are you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great stuff. So lovely to see you after, you said 8 years, right?
8 years we here in Cape Town.
Oh, it's been 20 years. Oh, sister likes exaggerating. How have you been?
Good.
I can.
And you guys?
I've also been keeping well, yes. Life's ups and downs, but we soldier on, hey? Corona.
Yes, definitely.
Stand as a unit and we soldier on. So today I'm talking to my old sister, a very old friend of mine. We've known each other for more than 8 years. We haven't seen each other for 8 years, but we've known each other for more than 8 years. And I thought, why not invite Mrs. Ibrahim to my channel, because she is just a darling, a person I hold very close to my heart. We've had a very special friendship over the years, and I appreciate that. I miss the chats we would have in my little office when we used to work together. I miss everything about you. So I'm going to describe you briefly, and you tell me yay or nay. So she is a dynamite small package. Is that what it is? Dynamite small package. She is a go-getter. She's hardworking. She's financially savvy. She's very streetwise. And yeah, I think those are the things that come to my mind when I think of you. Am I right? Am I wrong? Did I misreport?
Yes, spot on. Spot on. I think the one thing everyone knows about me is the street smart one.
Definitely. Oh, I think you were born with it, eh?
Yeah.
Some of us had to learn along the way. You were just born with
it. Yes. You can jump in a train, can jump in a taxi, could jump in the car, wherever. Doesn't matter, could walk.
Anyone who is acquainted with you would be blessed and would learn from that attribute or that you carry, because I know I've learned a lot from you. And introduce yourself briefly so that everyone can know who I'm chatting to.
Well, like you said, we've known each other for, to be exact, let's give exact, the finance people, give figures.
Let me take out the calculator.
Okay, I am an old friend of Bulelwa's. We've known each other for at least 15 years now. And we met, yes, at Draeger Medical. That was a really blessed time there. I was there for 6 years, so it was really a blessed time. Beside working with Bulelwa, we worked with lots of other, wonderful people. So just that time there at that company and the people that we met. And I have 2 kids. I've relocated from Johannesburg to Cape Town and married, and yeah, just living each day as it comes.
All that lovely stuff and all in all.
The all in all, yes.
So shall I start with your background? Tell us briefly who Lorraine Ibrahim is.
I don't know, there's not too much. There's not too much I can say about myself, because I've always been the type of person where I want people to experience me more than me tell others who I am, you know. So I generally try to be true to myself, but also I try to be as authentic as I come from KwaZulu-Natal. You know, I try to keep that. So no matter where I go, I like to carry that with me. So that people can also experience, you know, what we are like in Durban, you know, the type of people that we are, the warm, huggable, lovable type of people. And obviously we like to cook some curry from time to time and invite people over. But yes, in a nutshell, you know, I've grown through the years. So I would say that I just consider myself just to be another human being, just like everybody else. I don't consider myself to be an accounts person or, you know, a person of status or anything like that. I just consider myself to be a human being like everyone else, a mom that I hold very dear to the position or the honor to be a mom, and also a wife, you know. And I've learned through the years being in Cape Town. I think I've grown a lot in the past few years being here because I got to see a lot more of what the community is like here and experience what they're experiencing. So I've learned a lot, you know, from that. So I try to keep more with the people, more with the community, you know, um, more grounded as such, you know. Um, yeah, so like I said, I prefer people to experience me more than to say, you know, who I am.
Yeah.
And you know, so that the way I am, I can either, you know, impact people in a both positive or negative way, and hopefully it's always, you know, in a positive way that builds people. Yes.
I'm glad you mentioned the community part of who you are, because that's exactly who I know you to be, a person with a big heart. You are one of those that come one, come all, whereas some of us can only accommodate two people at a time. You have such a big heart and you share the little that you have. And I think that's what I admire most about you. And God has been true to you, because you know that scripture that says, if you are entrusted with the small, God will entrust you with much. So
Yes.
I think you are a true reflection of a person who is selfless and
Thank you.
always caring, and always, even sometimes at your own cost, you know. So that's what I admire
Yes.
about you. You overlook whatever circumstance you are in, as long as the next person is okay. I can put it that way. So never change, babe. I want that. I want that known by many people who you truly are, and the person that I have seen, because you say you want us to see more than you telling us. So that's the person I've seen. Who a lot. Firstly, Lorraine Gavender to being Mrs. Ibrahim. I've been around.
Yes. 12 years, Mrs. Ibrahim.
Exactly. So I got your file. I got your files.
You got my file, yes.
So with this month, I just thought I'm going to talk about the things that have contributed to the women that we are today. Okay, so as I was saying, I want to hear from you. What are the things that have contributed to the wonderful woman that you are today? You know your journey, you know where you come from to where you are today. What are those things that have kept you going? Those things that have tripped you, but you stood up, got yourself up, dusted yourself up, and continue to soldier on?
Well, I think it's definitely, you know, it starts from already a very tender age. When my grandparents had died, and I've had to move from them who were my only caregivers at the age of 5 already. And then I had to move around a little, and then, you know, my dad left me with my aunt that raised me from the age of 10 until, well, I got married. So I think that time in my life, it obviously, shaped a lot about me. I remember I received a photo of myself as a kid in 2018. For the first time I ever saw what I looked like as a child was in 2018. Yes, because I didn't have a photo of myself. And when my brother had died in 2018, the photo was found on him. And that was the first time that I had seen the photo. And I showed it to Joel. I thought, oh, I look quite cute, that sort of thing. I didn't. My hair was short and, baby, youngish. No, not so baby. I think I was about 8 or 9 on that photo, but still, I suppose baby. And I showed Joseph the photo, and he said to me, I see so much sadness on that child on that photo. And I didn't see that. I was more focused on how cute I looked, and I was I think I was more excited to see the fact that I've seen a baby photo of myself, And I had to actually take a moment to reflect on what he had said, because he had obviously not known me at that time. And he saw something that was actually a fact, because of the fact that you had to move around and things, you couldn't have really been a happy child. So when I spoke to a relative of mine and I showed her that photo, and she said to me, she remembers that photo because she remembers that she was actually there and I didn't want to go take that photo. I was pretty upset. It was interesting because Joseph had seen it and he had confirmed what somebody said and I didn't, So that being said, yes, I think all those little things had shaped me to the point where at one point in my life growing up, I just said to myself, I was very young, probably 10 or 11. I'm in a better situation now. I said to myself, I'm with my aunt. They look like rich people, so this looks good, that kind of thing. I remember thinking that, And I'd actually literally pushed all that aside, the fact that I had to move around. But that's stuff that happens to a lot of kids, so it's nothing that was really new or anything like that. So I put it aside and then I just allowed the space that I was living in, and my aunt and my uncle and their children and my grandmother lived with us, so that was nice. And I just embraced the whole thing. And then I've forgotten and I put everything aside and I said, I'm not going to let that make me a sad person, And I literally, my aunt always says to me, I blocked it out. She calls it a blocking out process, that I actually did. I just did that. I literally did that. I became a happier child. To the point where people called me Sunshine. That was my name.
Wow, babe.
At church, people would call me Sunshine, and everywhere I go, people would call me that. And that became my name because I left that. I decided, I made a conscious decision as a child that I'm not going to do this and be sad and whatever, because I was in a happier space. So besides being in a happier environment, but I was around people that actually loved me, and cared for me. And that was what I allowed to, sort of push me forward and help me. And then they just did everything for me. They helped me with my license and they just helped me with my learning and studies and all those nice things. So I basically had created, even though it wasn't my own, it was my family because it was my dad's sister, so it was my aunt, but it wasn't my own parents,
Yeah.
you know. But I created for myself a little safety net of a mom, a dad. So I started calling them mom, dad, and sisters, and that's basically how my life, you know. It's only till my brother had died in 2018 that I actually started to talk about it and let people know that maybe a few people, I don't know if I told you about it at that time. I don't think so. Yeah. And I didn't want to share it. It was something that I didn't want to share.
On social media, seeing a lot of postings from you. I was still very new to social media at the time, so didn't know much what to do, what to say. But also, I didn't read. I don't think I read any captions. I just saw that you're posting about. I don't know if it was 2018 or recently. I can't remember. You were posting.
Yeah, it was 2018.
Yeah, you were posting this brother, and unbeknown to me that he was your brother, but I sense your sadness at the time that you were posting, and it didn't die.
Yes.
It died a tragic death, if I remember from your postings, or am I?
Yes. He died. He died tragically. He's actually. So I'm really the only child from both my parents. I'm a single. I'm a one child, but he's actually a child from my father's only marriage. So my father had 2 children with his wife, and that's the son. So that's my half brother and his sister.
Okay.
So, but I knew about them, and they knew about me, and at some point we interacted, and then in 2012 we actually got to really connect, and then 2018 he died. So he was actually murdered. So that's what the tragic thing was. Yes. So basically going out to help someone, and then wrong place, wrong time. That's all it was. And then he was hurt in the process, you know. So yeah, it was one of those things. But yeah, this all of that being said, you know, I didn't let any of those things make me feel sad or anything. I just always say to people all the time, there's so much life to live. I can't be sad. Death is a part of life, and so is all the challenges that we have to go. So I always say to people, I'm a happy person all the time. I don't let anything get me down, no matter what it is, you know. So I didn't allow those things, but I also had a very grounded upbringing from the time of 10. So my aunt and her husband played a huge role in that. You know, making sure that I was always loved and always safe. And they gave me what they could, you know. Parents didn't earn much in those days. And they lived in the apartheid, so it was also a difficult time for them, things like that. But they gave me what they could. And for me, it was the best, because I still love eating everything that we used to eat when we were a kid, you know. I'm not... Someone asked me, what did you have today? I made tin fish biryani the way my mom makes it, you know. It's amazing. So I don't let anything negative that happens impact me to the point where it pushes me into a hole.
Yeah.
And I, you know, I consider myself to be fortunate, even though it was an unfortunate situation, because it could have been worse. You know, could have been worse.
You have a strong character. For a person like you, I think that's the thing we share to that, the similarities that we both have, even though our backgrounds are different. We have a strong
yes.
sense. We have a strong character where we are able to pick ourselves up without even getting counseling. You know, we know that that is not where we're going to end up, And we also have a vision of the kind of life that we want, and we search for it, you know. So I think that's actually very encouraging to hear that all these things that have happened to you, which are very sad, I must say, you did not let them make you a sad person, you know, because that is possible. We've seen sad people because of circumstances that they were never able to overcome.
Yes. And people allow themselves to go down a certain alley because it's hard to deal with, you know, it really is. But, you know, I always say to Joseph, I said, I made a choice at a very young age not to let myself go down that road or be sad, you know. And I had lots of aunts and uncles and cousins and trips and, you know, lots of nice, wonderful, positive things.
You're
all the time. We used to go to the
family and people who actually, I'm saying you were fortunate, or you are fortunate to have a big family with all the people that actually care and love you, you know?
Yes, yes. So
you were still talking about the person that you are, the strong woman that you are. And I admire that, babe, because I've seen how you, the little time that we spent together, how you raised your daughter, Erin. She resembled you a lot, you know. She was a very quiet little girl at the time and resembled all the qualities that I saw from you, I saw in you, rather. And I think most people pride themselves in their achievements, what they've achieved in life. And those are not the things that really make a difference to me if your heart is not in the right place.
yes.
Your heart is in the right place. Your heart is after God's own heart. And the people around you, the people that you are, the little people that you are raising, Erin and Joash, will definitely benefit from your good character. And your husband, actually, because he's one quiet, grounded, funny and quiet. But yeah, grounded. You guys, what attracted you guys to each other? Was it the deepness or?
Well, you know the story. I got attracted to Joseph at Draeger Medical telephonically. So
stalker that you were.
I was supposed to be working. Not looking for a husband.
You can write those placards and say, "I fell in love with a stalker," and I never looked back.
Definitely. But you know what? I think for Joseph, it is a situation where when we spoke and when we met, I just knew that he was the one, just because of who he was, you know. And I think I prayed long enough and I waited long enough. So by then I knew that that when I meet this person, I'm going to know, I'm going to be able to feel it, you know, in my spirit that he is the one. So I know that it was definitely God speaking and guiding me, and that's basically how I live my life still, you know, continuously asking him to guide me. And people, I read a quote where it says, if you're the same person that you were 20 years ago, then it's almost as if you've wasted 20 years of your life.
No, there's something wrong. Yeah, because as life moves on, people grow and evolve. But you find 40-year-old babies who refuse to grow. Which we have to rub shoulders with these babies, and it's frustrating.
Joseph says it all the time. He says, there's just some people that are babies, you know, they just don't want to grow up.
To grow, and it's frustrating for those that are really trying, you know. So tell me about. Did I get the story incorrectly? Are you involved in some? I don't want to say, are you a philanthropist, but can I just say that? Are you a philanthropist? What are you involved there? Cape Town, because I get the sense that you are very involved with the community there.
Not as much as we would like to be, but I think it's something that I want to move towards. Okay. So, you still have to work and, put food on the table and do those kind of things. But it was something that I definitely am moving towards, but I think more towards the youth side of things. Mm-hmm. But that's definitely a project in the making and things. But wherever we can, we do try to interact with the community and, do what we can, but not as much as we would like to, just yet.
Do you feel that is connected to your purpose in life? Do you feel that you found in life?
I think it definitely is connected to my purpose. At some stage when I was a child, I know I wanted to open some sort of orphanage, purely because of where I come from, So I wanted to create a space for children that are safe, and like the safe space that I grew up in.
Yeah.
But then as time went along, and when I got to Cape Town, I saw that the needs were different. Yes, there are lots of homeless people and lots of homeless children, but in terms of the youth, I see that there's a huge need because the youth are tomorrow's future. They are the leaders of tomorrow. So I want to be able to, the direction I am going into is definitely going to be more arts and culture on that side. So it's going to be in that sort of space. So I'm busy working towards it. I've got the plans. I'm waiting for the Lord to just say, here's the money. That kind of thing. Here's the money.
You are... God blesses people who are about other people, who are not just about themselves. So I believe that's coming.
Yes, I've grown myself to the level now where I'm actually an accountant. Was so it's been a lot of hard work and lots of tears as well, because I can cry lots of tears.
I would say a lot of hard work, resilience, and fortitude.
Yes.
You had to push hard. You need courage to do those kind of things. So
yes, because working for other people is hard. There's lots of different types of pressures that come with it. So I'd found that during the time I was not working and I was not able to find work, that there was something that I needed to be in, and I wasn't getting it in the job, in my financial. And even though the whole community thing and the children and youth has always been something I wanted to do from a child, but there was something that I wanted to do that was more, to impact the young people more, so that we can see a different youth. You could see change happening, obviously through partnerships and networks and things like that with other people. You're not going to do it on your own, and you don't want to do it on your own. So through the years now, we've been building those, slowly building partnerships and networking with other community leaders and NPOs and NGOs and things like that. So it's all in the hands of the man above, together with my hands that need to work in order to be able to do it.
Wow. And another question that I love asking people is, what defines you? What defines Lorraine?
I think I've answered that question on a post that you put on one of your videos that you asked what defines people. And I think it's just the way you are with people. I don't think it's anything, At some point we all thought, cars and a nice house and, Gucci and, those kind of things. But as time went along, we realized those are just, you need to have nice clothes. So it's fine, just go to Gucci if you want to, because it's just another store, because I might as well also be a brand, Lorraine. You understand what I'm saying? That sort of thing.
LE.
Or LE. We could all make a brand out of ourselves and make it popular and that sort of thing. I just think the way I am with other people, the way I am with my children and my husband, and just everything about me as a person, that you have to get to know me. You cannot look at the exterior and make an assumption out of who I am, because people do that. You have to be able to sit with me and be able to speak with me to understand who I am and what I'm about and what my heart is about.
Yeah. What is that one thing you feel people, they misunderstand you in a certain way and you are actually in another way? Because I remember when I was young, a lot of people thought I was aloof, or I don't know how to put it in English. There's a word in Xhosa where they say uziphakamisile, where they think, people think you think too much, or you think you're better than other people. Yeah, that's the thing. Because you are quiet and reserved. Actually, I was an introvert, and because I was an introvert, I ended up being shy. And as I grew up, I had to fight against those things, because I knew that I would have to work with people, go to school with people, and etc. I will always be around people. So shyness was not going to buy me the next ticket to where I want to get to. So I was misunderstood. Yes. In that manner. What is that one thing where you feel people misunderstand you?
I think people they misunderstand me in terms of like I'm the type of person that when I want to do something, I want to do it properly. I'm a proper person. I feel that if I give something to myself or to other people, but starting with myself, because we are the first most important, except God, obviously. That I like things to be done properly, and I take the time to do things properly. And people, they think, oh, you must perfect, because lots of times here at work in Cape Town at my jobs, people would say to me, oh, you must perfect, And and it's not about being perfect. It's about, if you're going to do something for yourself, and even if I'm not in a happy job, the thing is I'm getting paid, right? So I want to be able to do my work properly and do everything properly. So if you know that certain things need to be done properly, because that's what the boss expects out of you, then you need to do it, But just little simple things, like I like everything to be clean and tidy, Don't call me up early in the morning. Like, yes. So I don't want to be disturbed. I want to be able to do things and, clean up. So people misunderstand those things about you, because maybe sometimes people are not that way, and they are different.
And personalities.
Yes, they don't appreciate you for who you are, and then they think that the way they are, you're supposed to also be that way, that sort of thing.
No.
So it's just little things, but I like to do things properly. That's just how I've always been.
I don't call it much perfectionism, because no one is perfect. Only God is perfect. I call it, and I was telling Zeleng the other day, my husband, that I'd like to term that a spirit of excellence that you were born with. And therefore you want to do everything with, perfection, even though we are not perfect, but the spirit is within us that makes us then, with other people, they view us, or those people like you and him, as perfectionists, or you call yourself.
I call Joseph a perfectionist too. But it's not, it's just about doing things.
Whereas there's nothing wrong with wanting to perfect everything, because that is integrity. If you are entrusted with something, like you mentioned your job, you want to do everything properly, not cut corners, because there are people, unfortunately, that do cut corners,
Yes.
So
yes,
that is very true. But like I said, I choose to call it a spirit of excellence.
I think so. That's a nice term to give it, because you want to be able to. I mean, if you're going to give yourself the best, why not give the exact same best to somebody else?
Oh, and I always believe whatever you give out, it's exactly what you're going to get back. So if you are giving half measures and cutting corners, what does that say about you, and what is going to come back? Isn't that like a life of mediocrity, where things are not really quite authentic the way they should be, And
exactly, and it's a reflection of you. That's the thing, It's also a reflection of yourself.
True.
If you're not going to give others the best, then what does it say about you? And what do you think about the next person? And let me share something with you that you taught me. Let's open some files that you actually taught me. I learned a lot from you, by the way, during our corridor chats. It was always me harassing you. But I remember that you said to me that I think it was about your car, that you said you and Mr. Tatani like to wash your own car. And I didn't have a car then. You used to give me a lift. I think it was Witkoppen or something like that, if I remember the street. You should drop me. And I remember you used to always say to me, God can never trust you with the big if he can't trust you with the small. And the small is not the kind of car that you're driving, but it's about the fact that you're taking care of what he's given you, and you take the time and the pride to clean it, to keep it clean, things like that. So that is definitely something I've always kept with me, and something that I use, I always try to, remember that if I have something, I always take. Sometimes people think it's materialistic, and it's not. It's not about that. It's about the fact that you've asked for it, and why must you neglect it? You understand?
And I also think it's also connected to being grateful. It's connected to gratitude. If you've prayed for something and God actually did give you, it doesn't matter in what measure, take care of it. And anything that is not nourished will never grow,
Yes.
We all have aspirations and dreams where we want to end up with our little families, but if now you are given this little space, and whatever it might be, whatever I call, if you can't take care of this, who's to say you'll be able to take care of the big that you want? So it has always been something that I carry with me and my husband as teaching to our little men to take care of what you are given, so that the biggest you want one day you'll be able to take care of, and also not always be about yourself. Share what you've been given also, so that God can see that it was not just for selfish reasons. It was also just for others. We are blessed to be a blessing. An apple tree, I always like to use this example, that an apple tree is not growing apples for itself, but for those that will benefit from those apples, because the apple tree doesn't eat its own apples. So all that, so keep up the good work, babe. Keep up the good spirit that you have. It's really appreciated. And I also want to ask you, because I know you're a reader, right?
Yes.
So what are you currently reading right now? I'll tell you why.
Well, I'll tell you what I was last reading. I'm not reading anything at the moment. For certain reasons, we've had to just pack a lot of the books away and things. in a space of transition. But I was actually busy with Joseph's linguistics books.
Say what?
Linguistics.
Your husband, Mr. Ibrahim?
Yes. Yeah, so I was busy. So I was busy reading. So yeah, he's busy with lots of educational stuff. He's writing his own things, and yeah, he's doing. Yeah. So he's doing training and facilitation and public speaking and all that kind of stuff now. So whatever it is that he's reading, I'm reading it too.
Oh, wow, that is very profound of Mr. Ibrahim to start writing. He's an author, so I can safely call him an author. I'd like to get hold of those books.
Yes, no, definitely. When he's actually finished with what he's doing, then he'll definitely share the links. He's still very much in progress with what he's doing. I think finances has been the biggest thing for him in business as well with COVID and all of that. So he's had to obviously take a step back a little, and now he's trying to get up again and things like that. So he's busy with that, busy with his own e-learning platform as well. So definitely when he's done, then I'll share, or when he's, space finished with something, then I'll definitely share the links with you guys.
Yeah. At what age did you fall in love with Christ? Because you are also a sister in Christ.
Interestingly enough, so I was raised in a Hindu home, right? In a Tamil home. But that was now before my grandparents had died. So my neighbors, I remember this story. Nobody can obviously confirm if these memories are true or not, because there's no one there, But I have memories from a very young age. So I remember going to church with the neighbors that we lived with when I lived in Durban. Okay. But that was before I moved to that was where my grandparents were. And I remember going to church with them. And it was very odd because I was in a Hindu home and, that was a Christian home. But I've always found that I've always been at church. And I think it's just been because I was so musically inclined, I just loved being there because I just loved to sing. It was that kind of thing. So it was never a case where, me falling in love with Christ. It's like from the time I was little till now, he's always just been there.
Okay.
And I didn't find that I ever, he's always been a constant for me. He's always, it's like everyone around you changes except the Creator. So why must I have issues with him? That kind of thing. So even when I'm going through something, I know that I can speak to him and say, this is what's happening, guide me. So I think it's always just been a constant. I think that's why I've always felt so protected, even though for most part you would think a child that doesn't have parents, you don't have that kind of protection. And I never found, I didn't seek protection in anyone. The sound is a bit funny, hey?
No, you're fine. I can hear my side.
I found that I've never seeked protection or worried about being protected because I always felt so protected because of Jesus Christ being in my life, or our Creator or our Father. So he's always a constant for me, he's someone that I always go to, and I always remind the kids, always pray. Joseph also does it. So I don't think at any point I would say, when I fell in love with him or I became more aware of him,
Yeah.
It was someone knew that I needed to be introduced to him at a very young age because of the journey I would take, or life would take me through. So that was my safety all the time.
It's touching actually to hear that somebody knew that there's a journey you are going to partake on, and therefore you're going to need Christ to be there by your side. Wow.
Exactly. Yes. So through everything, I think that's probably beside, like I said, my parents had raised me. I think knowing that I had someone that was, this highest power over me, that has definitely just been, being able to help me and guide me and continuously, keep me safe and push me forward.
Thank you for your time and sharing your beautiful story. I always love chatting to people who have a story to tell, because their stories touch other people. And there's another person who could be going through exactly what you're going through and thinking, oh, am I the only one? And there was a time, I think last year, if not early this year, where there was a lot of girls, young girls, who were taking their lives. And I was very devastated to learn this, story after story that a young girl has taken their lives. And I asked myself, what could it have been that pushed them that far? Was it loneliness? Was it thinking that they are the only ones going through whatever they are going through? That's why I think, and it's important for me, if it touches me, if it reaches my ear, it's always important for me to chat to other ladies and other people, so that people will know, find encouragement and courage to continue also on their journeys, to say, I'm not the only one. If Bulelwa has made it through whatever childhood trauma she has been through, so surely I will too, and just continue to sit on and pray. If Lorraine had such a sad upbringing, look at her now. She has 2 beautiful kids and a lovely family. Maybe there's a so I never just want us to keep our stories to ourselves. There's a reason we went through them, and there's a reason we need to share them. So I thank you for making time for your old friend.
Thank you for inviting me.
And I will never stop being your friend.